This episode of the Local Hustlers podcast is brought to you by Flamingo Pools, your go-to maintenance and repair company in the East Valley. Stop wasting your valuable time trying to take care of your pool and let the professionals at Flamingo Pools take care of it for you. Visit azflamingopools.com for a free quote today.
You're listening to the Local Hustlers Podcast, East Valley Locals. Get connected with small businesses near you and dive deep into their stories, mindset, and motives. Entrepreneurs everywhere. Get ready to be inspired by business owners, entrepreneurs, and hustlers that you can relate to and learn from. And now, your hosts, Dallin Huso and Ridge Waldberg.
All right, we are live today with another episode of the Local Hustlers Podcast. Today we're here with TJ Searle of Olive Avenue Jewelry. How's it going, man?
Good. How's it going, guys?
We're doing good. It's been a
Killing
good day.
it.
Thanks for taking time to
Sure.
out of your Friday afternoon to come on the podcast. We appreciate it. I guess before we really get into things, why don't you take a couple of minutes and introduce yourself?
Sure. Like you said, my name's TJ Searle, Gilbert native. Grew up in Gilbert, went to Gilbert High School. Graduate. Say it again?
Ouch, yeah, Gilbert.
Yeah,
We're not
That's a rough subject.
It's all right. I had enough friends at Highland that we were able to
All right.
to cross that bridge, mend that bridge there, right?
There we go.
Let's see. So I've lived here my whole life. Story of me is I still live in Gilbert. I'm married.
Cool.
Have a kid, 8-month-old baby.
Nice.
Haven't made it very far, but right, moved a few miles down the road from where I grew up. I don't know what else you guys want to know about me. I guess what's good background. What do the people want to hear?
What makes TJ?
It's a good question. So, like I said, I went to Gilbert, went and served a mission, Colorado, and then got back and went to ASU for 4 years. Got my degree there.
Okay, what'd you get your degree in?
Accounting.
And are you glad you did that?
Yeah. So to kind of hit on that, I feel like there's two types of people in the world, especially if you're talking about like entrepreneurship or business owners, and you have a vein of people who are like, oh, we don't really need school, which is fine. That fits some people. I'm on the opposite side where I feel like school and getting a higher education and getting a meaningful degree, right? Not just some random generic arts degree, right?
Yeah.
I feel like that's contributed a ton to my success in being able to be a business owner and do the different things I do. And so when people ask me or if I have friends, I definitely say go to school. Just make sure it's something that is meaningful. Don't just go get a generic degree, right?
Yeah. Did your parents grow up teaching you guys like go to school, or was that something kind of for yourself that you knew?
No, they definitely did. They definitely did. My parents. So I come from a family of 8 kids.
Oh wow.
I'm number 7.
Oh wow.
So I have a lot of older siblings and one younger brother. There's 5 boys in my family, and so we've all kind of stuck real close. And all growing up, it was just kind of an expectation. Hey, you're gonna go to school.
Yeah.
It wasn't one of the situations. I don't think my parents paid $1 for any of our educations when it came to school. You either had to get a scholarship or you did it yourself, kind of thing.
Cool.
But yeah, it's definitely ingrained in us to do that. So it wasn't like, oh, maybe I'm not. It's definitely like, okay, I'm going to school. I did a little bit before I went on a mission and came home and then just tried to crush it out as fast as I could.
Right. Cool. Yeah, good to get both perspectives on that in terms of
Sure.
entrepreneurs. Why did you choose accounting?
I'm not very good at anything else. I'm a numbers guy. I don't have any skills. I'm not musical. I can't sing. I can't play an instrument.
That's funny because we're actually going to sing a song at the end of the podcast.
That's like our
I
new
better start
thing we
warming
do.
up.
Yeah.
As long as I get to pick the song. No, so literally I just accounting. My brothers, I have 3 older brothers and 2. I guess all 3 of them got accounting degrees. So I kind of just like, hey, I kind of hitch my wagon to them and they can help me get through it. And then it was something I liked, like understanding the numbers. And to be honest, when you talk about accounting, everyone thinks it's just sitting behind a desk doing taxes or something like that. Sure.
That's what I think of.
Yeah, that's one part of accounting. And you learn in school. There's that side of it, but the true essence of like accounting is understanding the language of business. And that's a saying you hear people say that are in the accounting program or have learned anything about accounting. Accounting is actually like the truest language of business. So you can understand accounting, and I'm not just saying taxes, but I'm talking like looking at someone's financials,
right?
Looking at a profit and loss statement, looking at a balance sheet.
Mm-hmm.
That has nothing to do with taxes, but that's accounting.
Yeah.
I can look at that and immediately tell you the story of a business. You know, are they successful or not? Where are their pain points? Where are they doing well or need help? Right.
That's super interesting.
So I never was in it for like the tax side and being a boring number cruncher behind the desk, but I love the aspect of business and understanding how businesses run and what makes them in the background be successful or not, because that really tells you the story.
Right.
You know, you could have someone out there on the face of business like, oh, we're doing great, look at all this, but that's not a true story, because you can look at the accounting and see this is how it really is, right? So that's kind of why I like that. So that I like to go back to that question. I'm not good at anything else other than that.
Cool.
Sweet.
So did you get this accounting degree to one day become an accountant, or did you know beforehand that would help you with any sort of business ventures that you took on?
It's the second one. I knew it would help me with my business ventures. I knew from the day I started school going for accounting that I wasn't going to be an accountant. I wasn't going to be a paper pusher. CPA, right? Like I knew I could fall back on that if I needed to, but I knew, hey, this is going to be a tool to help me when I want to go do other things.
Right.
So more of my storyline here would be like I graduated from school, and immediately while I was in school I was interning at a private equity firm that handles real estate. And they handle big funds of money and buying real estate across the country. And so I was interning there to be a financial analyst. Yeah. And my accounting background helped me get that job. And then as soon as I did graduate, I just stayed there and was able to interview for a full-time job as an analyst. Okay. And that was awesome. I loved it. But that was a lot more like building models in Excel, doing they're called waterfall models for investment. So buying and selling these properties, you go do the analysis on what investors are getting back, what kind of returns you can see, again, kind of the story of that business, of that investment. So I love that. And so I knew when I went to school, like, hey, I'm going to end up doing something like that. I'm not going to be a CPA doing people's taxes, right?
You'll do your own, but
that's about it. I was able to do my own in TurboTax and understand a little bit, but to be honest, my knowledge of like actual taxes itself is pretty limited. People are like, oh, you went to school for accounting, can you do my taxes? Like, no, that's not how that works. At this point I don't do my own. It's not how that works. So but while I was in school, just to kind of keep going to where we're at now, like I said, I was in school full time, doing this internship full time. So I was working 30 hours a week in school, doing full schedule, and then had this side hustle going of selling jewelry. And that's kind of how we got to where we are now.
How do you even, sorry to interrupt, but how do you decide to start selling jewelry? Like, how does that become an idea?
So,
especially as a guy,
right? No, I had an in on it because my dad, he taught Seminary Institute for 30 years. Okay. And he, on the side, had a diamond business and had like a brick and mortar store here in Mesa. And he had started it selling diamonds when he was in college at BYU. Oh, wow. Like, I don't know how many years ago that was, 40 years ago.
So was it rings or just diamonds?
So when he started with diamonds and then got into rings. Okay. And then when he had the store here, it was like a full service ring store. Yeah. Like you go down to the mall and you have the jewelry stores, right? Okay. Yeah. Sell all sorts of jewelry. So he had that for a long time. I grew up around it. And then in 2010, he closed it up and retired from teaching and started a boys ranch down in southern Arizona. Okay. And him and my mom moved down there and they closed the store. And so from 2010 to 2014, 15, it was just kind of dead. Yeah. They kept a little like executive suite in Mesa that they'd meet old customers out of, or people who would call and say, hey, I'm looking for something, because they still had the connections to diamond wholesalers or, the goldsmith who does all the work on the jewelry. Right. So when I got home from my mission, I had friends getting married and they knew my family used to be in that business. So they started calling me. They're like, hey, I'm getting married. I need a diamond. Can you help me find one? And I was like, sure. So as a side hustle on the nights and on Saturdays, I would meet with clients a couple a month out of this little executive suite. And I just started learning the trade. And
so it's almost just like set in your lap, kind of.
Yeah. And I mean, like, the opportunity was there. I don't want to say like, oh, hey, I was given this store and this thing, because it wasn't like, oh, hey, take this and just take it over and run it. When I stepped in to kind of do it, it wasn't a living thing anymore, but I was able to say, hey, I have access to that. So yeah, like, I give my parents credit for saying, hey, there was a foundation for me to go off of.
Connections.
Yeah, the connections to the industry, right?
Connections, right?
Outside that, it's not like there was money or inventory or anything like that. So I just started hustling diamonds to my friends who needed it.
That's sweet.
And then I had a kid come to me one day. He's like, hey, I want this exact ring. And he showed me a picture off of Etsy. And I was like, oh, I can get that exact same ring for half the price from one of these goldsmiths I work with. And I was like, why don't I start selling this on Etsy? So it went from just meeting people randomly that would call me to my brother and I, this was before I got married, made a little Etsy shop and just started throwing rings up on there.
Right.
We each put in $500 to buy some product. That was like our initial investment. Say, let's buy some product, take some pictures, and throw it on there and see what happens. Just total side hustle. I never wanted to get into jewelry. Wasn't going to be my thing at all. Like, I'd watched my parents do it. And I'm like, that's zero interest, right?
Yeah.
And it just started slowly growing, and we started making sales. And then I did get married, and around then it was like really wasn't doing anything. And then my wife and I were like, hey, let's make this a real side project. And she's creative and came up with this branding, and we came up with this name, Olive Avenue, which people ask us all the time why you name it that. It was the street we lived on when we got married.
Oh,
First
cool.
street we lived on was Olive Avenue in Gilbert.
So
we just said, yeah, right. Well, we had a hard time coming up with the name, and we're like, let's just go with that. So,
well, it almost goes with the company too. Like, you do rings, and it's kind of where you and your wife started too. So that's sweet.
It's got a little backstory. So I guess that's cool. But so then it was always just a side project.
And at this point, were your brothers still involved, or was it mostly just you?
My one brother was involved.
Okay.
For like 2015 to 2017 or even mid 2017, for about a year and a half he was involved, and it was still just a side project. So I was going to school, working my internship, and then I found myself every night, him and I getting together for 4 or 5 hours every night working on it. Yeah. Just taking pictures. Had my wife help him take pictures because she was the creative side, and listing them. And then we'd get a few orders, so we'd find ourselves there at night packaging rings and sending them to people.
And you started with 500 each of you.
So about $1,000, yeah. Like, outside that, there's really nothing, and just an Etsy shop. And we still are able to say, hey, we have been in business. Like, our Olive Ave logo has established in 1981 under it. Yeah. Because that's when my dad started it. Right. So we just say, hey, we're carrying on that.
That's cool, yeah.
That legacy, that business, right? Because we're basing it off of even his experience.
Right, yeah.
Have had him kind of coach us on some things to do.
Yeah.
And then to kind of bring it full circle, it just grew and grew and grew until, I don't know, probably we had to hire people to help manage it. And then we moved off Etsy, made a website. And then almost 2 years ago now, it got to the point where I had to decide, am I going to keep on a career path in private equity and doing the analyst stuff, or am I going to bail out and go be my own boss and try and make this thing go? Right. And like run my own business. And chose to do that and haven't looked back. And it's been awesome. Like, it's opened up a ton of doors for us to do other things as well. So we've been able to, me and my brothers and other people involved, have been able to start a few different things, and some things have failed, some things are still going. But if you would have asked me a few years ago, hey, what are you going to be doing? I would have never told you running a jewelry business.
Yeah.
But here I am.
That's cool.
Running a jewelry business.
Sure. So when it came to that point to make a decision, that career split, was that a really tough decision? Like, did it take a lot of time, or in the back of your head, like, did you know that this was what you were meant to do?
Yes and no. It was hard because I was in a good spot in my career. Yeah. I had graduated, been there for full time at this job, and with an awesome career trajectory. Doing something I thought I was good at. Yeah. But deep down, I had this inkling, like, okay, I have this opportunity I'm young. I'm never going to have the chance to do this again.
Yeah.
And so it was hard for the sake of not having the security of a job. And like,
for sure,
we wanted to have a kid. I wasn't going to have insurance anymore when you're self-employed, right?
Yeah.
Like all that kind of stuff you have to take into account. So it was really scary in that aspect, but I always knew deep down, like, I'm going to have to make the jump. It's just a matter of when.
Yeah.
And that was a really hard conversation. Me and my wife talked about it a lot and felt comfortable with it, but it was real hard when it came time to actually like talk to my boss and give you a little more context. My brothers, all three who are older than me, they work at the same private equity firm with me.
No.
And so it was a great atmosphere. We loved it. And we all did different things there. So it was hard for me to say, let me leave this where I have my brothers and I have a ton of other friends I've made here to go do this. This is going to be unknown, taking a risk, jump. So yeah, it was definitely scary, but at the same time, it's like I knew I had to do it.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it just had to buck up and pull the trigger and did that, I guess, almost 2 years ago now.
And how'd you go about doing something like that, making that big step from, the safety net to the more unknown?
Like I said, it took a lot of talking with my wife and being able to like feel comfortable, like, hey, we're able to live off of, whatever we need to. Are we like financially, we made sure we were in a good spot to say, okay, I have a safety net, and if I have to, I can go back and get another job in the same field.
Yeah.
Outside that, it was literally just a lot of conversations with people weighing my pros and cons. And I was fairly confident it was going to work out. So that helped a ton. But yeah, a lot of it was just having to weigh pros and cons of where do I really want to be, which opportunity is going to open more doors for my future. And, when I would sit there and picture myself, what do I want to be doing in 5 years? Do I want to still be at a firm like this, or do I want to be doing my own thing? And so if I'm going to make the jump, I just might as well do it now before I have kids, before I'm too entrenched, and before I have a house and mortgage payment, all these things, right?
Yeah.
So it was helpful to be in a good spot, and my wife being on board. And she was involved with the business from the beginning, so it was easy for her to say, yeah, let's do it. Like, you can do it. So she was a huge, huge help in that.
That's awesome.
Has there ever been a time from that moment you made the jump until now where you hit a hurdle that made you question whether you made the right decision or not?
No. Honestly, no. We've hit hurdles, but nothing to make me like look back and be like, oh, I shouldn't have done this.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, definitely every day is a hurdle.
Right.
There's new things to do, whether it's from employees that you have to manage now, to business processes, to customers, to everything. But it's, no, I can't honestly say I regret anything. I mean, sure, I would do things different, some things here or there, but not as far as deciding to leave my job or not,
Cool. What have you done since starting off as a side hustle to grow the business and get your name out there?
Like as the brand?
Yeah, marketing, advertising.
Sure. So we are pretty heavy on like social media marketing.
Yeah, we've noticed.
It looks really good.
All right, thank you. My wife runs the branding and has a couple girls who work for her, and they work hard. So
cool.
Glad to hear that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we were real heavy on running Facebook ads, Instagram ads, Google Analytics, AdWords. Sorry. We don't do traditional marketing like print, newspapers, stuff like that. So that's a lot of our heavy spend. We've tried to dabble with like influencers and stuff like that, and we have found that with jewelry, it's not. I gotta be careful how I put this. We don't get the best return on it. Okay. Because it's a higher priced item. I feel like you see some Instagram influencer, it's easier for them to say, hey, look at this cool shirt, and you see, cool, I'm gonna go buy it. It's $20. Whereas the Instagram influencer's like, hey, look at this $2,000 ring I'm wearing. Not very many people are gonna click it, but yeah, let me impulse buy that. I mean, not to say it doesn't work, but we have to spend a lot of money or give them a ring or whatever it is, and it's not as easy saying, here's a couple free shirts and swag. For sure. So we've definitely cooled off on that. But yeah, social media is huge for us. That's our number one thing.
Do you do the ads yourself, or do you start off yourself, or do you have to get someone to figure out how to do those for you?
We started off myself and my brother. He kind of took that into his wheelhouse to figure out the Facebook ads. Okay. And then over the last 2 years, we've been able to grow it to have a couple employees that's their thing now.
Nice.
And
so it's all in house then.
Yeah. We've used different agencies when we're dabbling with stuff, and we feel comfortable doing it in-house now that we get the same results or better.
Yeah.
And it's cheaper for us than paying a fee to some agencies.
For sure.
So,
you have any secrets or tips to getting effective Facebook ads?
Honestly, no, I don't have any tips. The only thing I can say is the content. Like I see people's ads out there for businesses, and they're pushing a picture or a video that's just not edited or not well made, or you know what I mean. And it's just like, why are you spending the money to push that? So like the thing we've seen that we get the most return on the ads that are clean, simple, and are done well.
Right.
And do you do all those yourself? Do you guys take the pictures and everything yourself?
In-house, between all of our employees,
Okay.
So at one point in time, it was just me, my brother, and my wife, right, running this. And now we probably have 10 employees that are in-house that, each of them have a different thing to do, whether it's the marketing or the content creation. We have a couple girls who do all the photography and editing, and then a guy who then takes their stuff and goes and puts it on Facebook, and he every day is managing the ads, seeing which ones are doing well, where our ad spend should go, and retargeting. And then we do these campaigns around Valentine's Day or Christmas or whatever, and so we're constantly meeting and figuring out where to push that. So yeah, we have enough people that we do that all in-house right now.
That's super cool. Did you have to train these people to do that, or did you find people that already had experience in the advertising? Mostly training everyone. I mean, a couple of the people we hired to do like photography, they knew how to use a camera already. But other than that, we've had to train everyone. So like, for instance, the guy who does, my friend who works for us doing our marketing right now, we hired a consultant to come in and teach him a bunch of stuff about Facebook marketing. Okay. And came in for like 6 weeks, a couple times a week, taught him a bunch of stuff, and then bailed out, and now he just does it, right? Nice. So he didn't know it before, but I hired him to do it because he was doing some other stuff, and said, hey, you want to take this part over? Yeah. And we found someone who was good at it, come train him, and then now he does it. That's cool. Okay, so funny story. The reason that I came across you guys in the first place, well, backstory, so I use you guys for my...
I remember being with you. Yeah.
So my sister recommended you guys because 4 or 5 years ago, probably right when you guys started off, you did some sort of giveaway where you hit a ring. Maybe you can touch on this a bit more, but one of my sister's friends is the one that found the ring. Okay. And then 3 years later, I'm looking for a ring. My sister's like, hey, I know about this place. It's super cool. You should check it out. And that's the reason we went with you guys.
Well, I'm glad that worked then. Awesome. So we grew our first few years up until like a few months ago. Giveaways was big for us to grow. We did that giveaway where I think we did 3 rings maybe here. I know we did some in Utah, and we even like did one in Disneyland.
Oh, really?
That's awesome. My wife and I went there, and we're like, let's do one there. See if we have any people in California follow us. And within 5 minutes of posting it, someone found it.
Wow.
But yeah, we did this thing where we would hide. They weren't very expensive. They were just some sterling silver rings that were gold plated.
It's $5 Amazon rings, right?
They're a little more than that, but yeah, they're less than $100 each, right? But it was more about getting people excited. Sure, yeah. And we went and hit them in different places in Gilbert and Mesa, and just posted clues on our Instagram story.
That's cool.
And I remember we had friends who went out. My wife and I were driving around hiding them, so we didn't get to watch as people found them because we'd hide them and then need to bail out and go place the next one. But I remember hearing we had we hid one in downtown Gilbert, actually on Olive Avenue, where we live.
That's sweet. Okay.
And my wife's friend was there and told us that she saw like a group of like 20 or 30 girls running around downtown Gilbert trying to find this ring. I'm like, cool. Like, at least people are seeing it. Something's working then. Yeah. But that's good. I'm glad to hear that led to that, because then it sounds like that paid off for us. Right?
Yeah. Like,
people heard about our brand, and a lot of those isn't about converting to customers. More it is brand recognition that hopefully would convert someone else as a customer a few years later.
Mm-hmm. And brand recognition, I think, is huge, but you don't always see the ROI, or you can't always track it. So it doesn't mean it's not important.
Definitely tough to do.
To brand it.
Yeah. So as like a numbers guy, what are your thoughts on giveaways? Like how, like money-wise?
So for us, we found doing a giveaway is better than, let's say, doing a collaboration with like a influencer. Okay. Because we were able to get a better return. We were able to gain more followers from that.
Yeah.
I haven't done the math to actually see, like, calculate for every giveaway we've done the amount we had to pay versus the amount of followers we gained from it, or something like that. I just know that it's better than everything else we've ever tried to do.
Yeah.
One thing we found that doesn't work, and for anyone who ever hears this is why we don't do collaboration giveaways anymore. Is we used to do like co-branded giveaways, like we'll give a ring and some other company would throw something in.
Yeah.
And those were always our worst giveaways. We never got any kind of bump from them, and it would always cost us the most, right? We're giving away a $700 ring, and they're giving away a photo shoot. Yeah, it's their time, right? And not to devalue their time, but you get my point. Like,
for sure.
So like a year and a half, 2 years ago, we just stopped doing combined giveaways with other companies because we tried a handful of times. It never worked for us. So we have found that doing a solo giveaway with a ring that's $1,000, like our cost, like that's how much we have to pay on it or more, had huge results. You know, you get 5,000-7,000 followers out of it sometimes,
which is huge. That's.
And it wasn't always like that. Like that was probably from the time we're at like 120,000 followers on Instagram, and we're at like 50 to 80. That's where we saw the most growth. Before it was real slow, and then in there it kind of expanded. And now we don't do giveaways very often because our marketing, we'd rather spend the money on the marketing dollars on like Facebook or Instagram.
Nice. How else has accounting or everything you learned with your accounting degree benefited this business in specific?
This business in specific?
Yeah.
It helped us. It helped me, and I would say us, like my wife and my brother when we started it, because it kept us grounded as far as not spending money too fast, not trying to scale too quick, because we understood the financial ramifications of trying to do that right. We could have gone out and got a loan to do that, but instead we were able to sit there and understand, okay, we could make a pro forma and project out how many sales we need to do and how much money that'd make us to roll it back in and do these things. So we're able to be pretty savvy about our financial decisions to keep it going. Whereas I feel like a lot of businesses and friends I know have started stuff that don't understand the financial side of it. They just think work hard and money will pile up. And the next thing you know, they're working hard and there's no money piled up because they've spent it dumb or, go buy stuff they don't need to as marketing expenses or whatever it may be, right? Sure. So it definitely helped us in our decision making early on not to do irresponsible things.
Do you spend more time cleaning your pool than you spend swimming in it? Then call Flamingo Pools today. Flamingo Pools is your go-to swimming pool maintenance and repair company in the East Valley. Whether it's weekly maintenance, repairs, green to cleans, or one-time cleanings, Flamingo Pools will take care of you. Honest, reliable, and innovative. Just a few of the many good things Flamingo Pools customers have to say about them. Ask them about their mineral treatment, which will keep your chemical levels down, allowing you to have a healthier bathing experience. At Flamingo Pools, they know that your pool was made to be enjoyed, so let them handle the rest. Check them out at azflamingopools.com or give them a call at 480-422-6013. Mention this podcast and you'll get your first month of maintenance completely free. That's azflamingopools.com and 480-422-6013. Cool. And then so you said earlier that you hired some people that didn't necessarily know the trade, but once they came in-house, you taught them how to do it. Why did you hire somebody like that instead of just going out and getting somebody that had experience in marketing or photography?
It's a good question. I think a lot of it comes down to the people, everyone we hired because they're a good culture fit. I don't necessarily, like, you definitely want to hire people that are talented and skilled in the area you need them to be. I think for me and being able to draw on my experience of working at a corporate place before, culture is the number one thing. You can train people to do stuff, but if someone isn't a culture fit, you can't fix that. You can try and get them to mesh and blend with everyone else there, but if it's not a good culture fit, so I hired mainly based on who's going to be a good culture fit. Plus, for instance, the girl who does our photography, you got to make sure they know how to use a camera. But she didn't need to have experience in doing product photography before because, okay, we can train you on that. But she's a good culture fit. Nice. So I guess to answer that question, that would be, we just felt that was more important than finding someone who has 5 years experience in Facebook marketing or product photography.
Nice.
So
what is the culture of Olive Avenue?
It's good. I don't want to say we're grinders, but like, it's not one of those places where we require everyone to have a dress code. Mm-hmm. If you get your work done, that's all that matters. And then it's more of a family feel. Yeah. Like, and I don't want to sound. I'm like hesitant to say that. I don't want to sound cliche. Like, sure. My business or my work's family. Like, yeah. But it's more of a family feel. Like, we can all go in there and say, hey, how's your weekend? Let's talk about personal things. And it's not weird. And like, and we go do quarterly events. Like, oh, cool. Like, we'll go do an escape room or go out to dinner or go-kart racing or something like that. And everyone like wants to do it because we're all friends. Like, we've all become friends. Right. So, I mean, there's aspects of it where we have to carry ourselves with professionalism, meeting with customers and stuff like that. But because we are an online shop, 99.9% of our sales are done through the internet. Okay. It's not like we have to have a strict customer-facing culture where it's super rigid. Uh-huh. I like to think I'm a laid-back boss. My employees might say different, but I would say it's... And then I think the main part of the culture that we look for there is that people that want to be ambitious, want to be there. Uh-huh. Like, want to come and like add value, not just clock in and out, let me come and click, but let me come up with new ideas. How can we make this business grow rather than just being a cog in the machine? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So when it comes down to the work and actual like grinding culture, I want people that are hustlers, that are willing to come in and say, how can I add value? Not just come in and give me a job, clock in and out. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What's kind of your role right now?
I just oversee all the departments and everyone's work as far as making sure projects are getting done, making sure we're heading in the right direction. And then I've had to work hard to pull myself out of being a person who works in the business and working on the business. Okay. I don't know if you guys have ever listened to the book. It's called E-Myth.
I have, yeah.
That one's a big book, guy.
Yeah, that one's... I
read, I just listen.
Yeah, same here. On Audible, right?
Yeah.
Same. So I have to listen to that one every year just to refresh, because this whole idea of as an entrepreneur, and I have, we can talk later, I have issues with the word entrepreneur. I don't like the way people use it.
Let's talk about that at the end, because that's interesting.
Yeah, I don't call myself an entrepreneur. Okay. I've been involved with starting multiple businesses, and I don't call myself an entrepreneur because I don't like that word, even though, sure, by definition, that's what I am, but we'll talk about it at the end. Okay. So I kind of have had to transition into being more working on the business than in, so where I'm not doing the day-to-day work, and I'm working on how can we improve the business, how can we better our website, how can I do things that are going to expand it, whether it's website related, marketing related, finding new vendors, building business relationships, rather than me being someone who's in there fulfilling orders every day, right, and meeting with customers. So for instance, when you came in, I was the guy who would meet with people. I don't meet with people anymore. Okay. I've trained a couple employees to meet with people because I'm trying to be more, how can I have an entrepreneurship role in growing it than being someone who's just working in the business, right? I think that's right now I'm starting to hit stride with that, where my daily stuff is, okay, I touch base with everyone who's in charge of certain aspects of the business, make sure it's running right, give guidance where I think it's needed, and then I'm finding ways to try to improve and grow. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. With that, was that something that you struggled to kind of delegate tasks, or?
Absolutely. I think any business person could tell you, business owner tell you that's hard. Going back, only because I just re-listened to this book, so I'm drawn from it. I forgot what the percentage of businesses that are started. It's like 80% of businesses that are started by someone who was technically like a worker or a technician, right, in that industry, and they think I can do this better, and they go and start it, and they find the problem is not only do they have to try and fill and be the entrepreneur and manager side of it, but they get stuck in being the technician. Yeah. And this was true for me, and it's hard to do it, but like the whole delegating and saying, okay, I started this and I did every aspect of it because at some point in time I have, and let other people do it. You just have to trust that it's going to get done, even if it's not your way. And if you get that same result, then that works. But yeah, it was hard. And there's still aspects that are hard for me to let go and let my employees do it or someone else do it. But I know that's the only way to really be scalable as a business.
Yeah.
Does it help that you've hired people that fit the culture? Is that kind of where you have your trust because you've hired people that are with you guys?
100%. 100%. Because I can trust people who work with me that things will get done. It does make it easier. And we've had a couple of people who come in and worked and they weren't a culture fit and I couldn't trust them and they didn't stick around, right? Like it wasn't. Yeah. So yeah, that's definitely a huge piece of that.
Yeah. No, yeah, I definitely recommend that book for anyone who struggles to delegate or feels like they're so busy, caught up in the day-to-day tasks of their business. It really helps you be able to take a step back, like you said, work on your business rather than in your business.
Remind the listeners of that book again.
E-Myth.
Yeah, it's called E-Myth Revisited. And Michael something. Just type in E-Myth Revisited. You'll find it.
Yeah, that's good enough.
Okay. I guess let's talk a bit more about Olive Avenue in general. I know you guys sell jewelry. Is it specifically rings, wedding rings? What do you guys...
Yeah, so where our whole focus is rings right now. I mean, we can do custom stuff like earrings and necklaces. We do all the same stuff any other jewelry store does. But we focus on rings just because that's kind of our target market is engagement rings or gemstone rings. And then we do dabble with men's bands. Just like gold bands. And
is that what you have on right here?
Yeah, just like this is just a rose gold band.
Rose gold, that's super cool.
So we'll just do stuff like that. I mean, and this is an example of something that I need to do. And so my goals is to expand our offerings of men's bands and different products, right? But we've been so busy with just engagement rings, like no one's had the time to branch out and add those to our inventory collections, on our website. So that's a good example. But yeah, so mainly that's our focus is just engagement rings at this point.
Cool. Do you guys do custom rings too, or do you have just kind of your set?
No, we do tons of custom rings. We have everything on our website that is kind of a unique, vintage, we feel to it.
I have a question about that.
Yeah.
Why the vintage antique look?
Because that's what is in style right now.
And I think it'll always be in style.
Yeah, and so my wife, that's where she gets all the credit. When we started this, she was kind of in charge of the procurement of our designs and our branding. And go back 3 years and go to any girl's Pinterest, and everything pinned on there is like this rose gold, oval, antique looking rings, some with different designs. Some, obviously, we still have your classic, just like solitaires or rings with diamonds or halos. Those are popular, right? But because the market at that point, and this is unofficial, but I believe that Pinterest drives a lot of the engagement ring market of what's popular on there. And what was cool today wasn't cool 2 years ago. There are different types of stones, or
for sure.
Like for instance, probably 90% of our sales are moissanite rings, which are an alternative to a diamond.
Oh,
okay. Really? I wanted to touch on that a bit because I've heard of, like, obviously everyone knows the diamond, but there's other things too that look like a diamond.
Sure.
Replicated. I mean, I don't really know.
So moissanite is the big one in the market right now. It's gotten real popular over the last few years. So to give you an example, a diamond is a 10 on the hardness scale. A moissanite looks just like a diamond, but it's a 9.2 on the hardness scale. Wow. So it's the second hardest stone in the world. A 1 carat diamond can range anywhere from $4,000 to $7,000. A 1 carat moissanite's like $500.
Oh wow!
Whereas and you don't want to get it confused with like a CZ, a cubic zirconium, which is like the cheap costume jewelry you see at little stores or something. Those are like $5 for a 1 carat one of those, right? Okay. So moissanites in the last 4 or 5 years have become huge because they're just as durable as diamonds. They look just like a diamond. I could bring a diamond and moissanite in here and you wouldn't be able to tell them apart, but it's a fraction of the cost.
And is a moissanite an organic thing, or is it like manufactured?
So they're lab made now.
Okay.
It originated actually off of a meteor. Do you guys know this crater that's up in like northern Arizona?
Yeah, that's a huge one.
So like back in the 50s, some guy found the first moissanite ever in there. Oh, wow. And his name was Henry Moissan, so that's why it's called moissanite. Okay. I truthfully hate the name moissanite. It's so hard to say and it sounds weird, but it's named after him.
Okay.
And so the original form of moissanite was formed in space on a meteor, where there's no oxygen. So a diamond's made from carbon. A moissanite is carbon and silicone combined. So now what they've been able to do is replicate it in labs and grow them in these labs and manufacture them. And They even do that with diamonds nowadays. A lot of diamonds are starting to become lab grown. It's a natural diamond, it's real. But instead of mining out of the earth, they're able to take all the stuff that goes into it, put it in this huge machine that's like the size of this room that mimics the earth's heat and pressure, and leave it in there for like a month. And then it comes out a tube of crystal where they can cut out diamonds. And it's a real diamond, it's just lab grown.
Wow.
So that's in the last year, like that's something we'll start selling soon because it's starting to gain popularity because they're cheaper than mined diamonds.
Okay.
Diamonds you find out of the earth. So yeah, there's alternatives. Moissanite's huge, super cost effective, looks just as good. And then you have other gemstones like the pink one that everyone loves is called a morganite. And those are pretty inexpensive, but people love that with rose gold and they're it's cute, right? Like, as a guy, I don't really care about it, but like girls love it, so we sell it.
Cool. And these are all ranked like 1 to 10, you said, on a hardness?
Yeah. So a morganite is like someone's gonna fact check me on this. It's a beryl stone, is like the stone family it comes from, and they're softer. They're somewhere in the 6 to 7 range, I think. So after time, they can get kind of scratched up and cloudy, so you gotta be careful with them. So yeah, I'm over here spouting off information like I'm a jeweler, and I tell myself all the time I'm not a jeweler, even though I am. Like, it's funny because again, like I said, I never thought I would know all this stuff, and it's what I would be doing.
Yeah, I'd say Ridge, you probably rank like a 2 on that scale.
Yeah, you're pretty soft.
Yeah, I'm about a 2, down somewhere between like I don't know, like a 6 and
6.5.
6.5. Yeah,
right up there with morganite.
Yeah. I can be a pretty soft guy.
What's the process of creating a custom ring?
Like from a customer standpoint?
Yeah.
So most customers will email us and say, hey, they'll take a design we already have, or go on Pinterest and find a picture and say, hey, I want this ring, but with these things changed. And then we have a customer service team that we just work with them over email to pinpoint what they want. And then we've got a CAD program that we draw up the design in a CAD program on the computer.
Yeah.
We can make renderings, send it to them, have them give us feedback, edits, whatever it may be. And then we make the changes. From there, it goes to be 3D printed. So a ring gets 3D printed first. Cool. And you can, if customers want, they can try on a 3D printed version of it, or we can mail it to them. It's just like a green resin wax, right? But at least it gives them an idea of size and really scale cool. and all that kind of stuff. And then once that's all approved, we just go ahead and have it cast in gold and have our goldsmith set all the diamonds and finish it off.
Nice. Cool. Sounds like a cool process. What is the benefit of coming to small local owned business like you rather than some of the big name franchises?
Sure. We're way less. What's the right word? I don't want to say cheap. Cheap's not the right word because it's the same quality. It's less expensive. Okay. We're way less expensive than your normal jewelry stores. Just because we don't have a store with $1 million of inventory, we don't have that overhead. We can manufacture it and sell it to you at a way cheaper price than anywhere else, and that's kind of our competitive edge, is just to be less expensive, but you're getting the same quality of ring. Literally what you get from us is the same stuff you're going to get from any other jewelry store, Jared's or Zell's or you name it, Shane Co, right? Same quality of gold, everything. So just because people come to us, usually you're going to find it's about half the price of somewhere like Jared's for the same thing.
So why all online and why not a store?
Everything in the world is moving to online, right? So because we started online as not a full-time thing for me, it's just easier and natural to stay on that. We've thought about doing a store again, but just doesn't make sense because industry-wide, brick and mortar jewelry stores are going out of business faster than you can snap because people our age are willing to buy it online. Pictures.
Especially if you can get like the 3D renderings.
Yeah, you can get renderings, you get pictures, you can see diamonds online in a 360 view now. And the old school traditional jewelry model is like, oh, don't buy a diamond without seeing it first, which sure is true, but now you can see the video of it online. And customers can email us and say, this is what I'm looking for. We can send them videos of diamonds. If you don't like it, you can return it too. So we offer 30-day returns. So if you get the ring and you don't like it, unless it's something completely custom, you can return it. So with that safety net, people are way more apt to from the comfort of their home to ring shop, pick something out and buy it and go that route.
So you don't have a storefront, but you have some sort of office space where people can still come in, because you said you meet with clients.
Yeah, so we meet by appointment only. We do have an office in the front that customers can email us, set up a time to come in.
Okay.
And we will meet with them to go through the traditional jewelry buying process.
Yeah.
Talk about design, show them diamonds.
Yeah.
Because we don't have the inventory for people to come pick through, generally we say, hey, tell us what you're looking for, and we can try and get some in advance, right? Or they come in, tell us what they're looking for. We do have, at any given time, maybe 100 rings in inventory, so people can browse through that. But yeah, so we still do appointments. People can come in. It's just not open, to the general public to walk in at any given point.
Yeah, cool. Ridge, do you have anything else you want to touch on before we kind of talk about TJ's take on entrepreneurs? Because I'm kind of interested to hear what he's got to say there.
I think I'm pretty good, because I really want to hear, and if anything comes up, I'll just ask later.
Let's jump in.
Sure.
So you said you don't like the word entrepreneur, or the term.
Yeah, I think I might. There's other people who disagree with me on this, but that's okay.
Okay.
When I think the word entrepreneur is thrown around too loosely by the wrong people. I think you guys might have experienced this, where you have anybody call you up and say, hey man, I'm involved in this business. I'm running my own home-based business now. I'm an entrepreneur, but I just need to sign you up and like 4 other people and get my downline, right? Like immediately screams multi-level marketing. And I think I've been exposed to too many people in the multi-level marketing sphere over the last 5-6 years that call themselves entrepreneurs because that's what they're fed to say. Oh, I'm part of this multi-level marketing, selling energy drinks or essential oils, whatever it is, right? I don't think that makes you an entrepreneur because you're part of a downline selling someone else's product and have to recruit people in order to make money. But they're trained to say that. That's part of the hype. Like, hey, you're an entrepreneur. Like, you're starting your own business. You're going to be financially free. Like, all these buzzwords. Yeah. And entrepreneur has been thrown in there as a buzzword, right? To financial freedom, residual income. All these things are associated with multi-level marketing or even sales. And by definition of entrepreneur, sure, it's someone who takes a risk to go out and start a business or start something. I don't know the Oxford Dictionary definition of it, but by being a part of something like that and people feeding you're an entrepreneur because you're part of some existing business and you're gonna recruit people to be selling this product under you, you're not taking any risk to do that. Like, you're not putting your own money in other than what you're paying the guy above you, so he gets paid. Yeah. People argue, oh, well, by definition, you are an entrepreneur because you're starting something that, sure, like, but you get the point, like the feel around it and the way people throw it around loosely now. Yeah. Like, I just had someone call me a really good friend that I've been friends with forever, like 4 months ago. Hey, man, how's life going? We started talking. I'm like, what are you doing now? He's like, oh, like, I'm an entrepreneur now. I'm like, sweet, man. Like, what'd you start? Like, what do you got going on?
You're all hyped.
Yeah, I'm excited for him. And he's like, oh, I've got this mentor who has got me and my wife set up to like find financial freedom and like do these things. And immediately in my head, I'm like, oh no. Here we go. And he gets through this whole pitch.
He's like a financial advisor, huh?
It's not even that. They are selling life insurance or something.
Oh yeah.
But it's part of it's just a multi-level version of it, right? And I'm like, and so I actually called him out on it. I said, listen, I won't use his name on here. I'm like,
call him out. No, I'm just kidding.
no. Don's all for that.
Just put everyone on blast. Yeah. I was like, what do you mean you're an entrepreneur? Because once I kind of caught what he's saying, he's like, well, like I'm creating an asset that's going to give me residual income. I'm like, what do you mean an asset? Like, tell me what you mean by that. I'm like, I know what I think that is, but what do you think that is? He's like, well, it's a thing that's gonna make me financially, like, he couldn't even explain what an asset was or what an entrepreneur meant, but he'd been fed this. Yeah. And in my head, like, I got off the phone with him. The guy's like, hey, dude, like, I'm gonna be honest. I hope he's best with it, but I'm probably not interested. Like, I'll listen to your pitch if it helps you get some brownie points, but because he was like, want to set me up on a call with his boss. I'm like, dude, I'm not getting sucked into this. Not doing it. Like, and I was talking to my wife that night. I'm like, man, it's sad because like he really thinks he's an entrepreneur.
Right. Well, it's like, it's nothing against him, but it's like the fact that like he's been like almost brainwashed.
That's
It's like, dude, come on, get out of it, snap out, let's go.
Yeah. So I guess like the world is tainted to me. Like, oh, I'm an entrepreneur.
It's like the cool thing to do.
Yeah.
Just say,
and it's like, sure, like. So that's just me being silly. Like, it's just a personal pet thing of mine. I don't want to say pet peeve, but like, that's my beef with people saying they're entrepreneurs, because like half the time they're not.
Right.
Yeah.
They're really not, but they say they are.
Yeah.
Doing something like this where you're starting a business, like, okay, now we're talking.
Yeah.
But there's too many scams and schemes and sales and all that stuff out there that they teach you you're an entrepreneur. So that's my beef with it.
But you're an entrepreneur, right?
Yeah.
Just want to clear that.
Yeah, and I At the end of the day, yes, I am.
What advice would you have for a real entrepreneur, someone that's wanting to, go off on their own, take that risk, and start their own business?
Honestly, I want to say like, from experience, go all in on it. Like, my experience with doing it wasn't I went all in, because I was able to kind of grow it while I was had a real job, if you will. But I would say to keep going, right? I think a lot of people, they get going, and after a few roadblocks, or they kind of feel burnt out after a few months of trying something, they quit. Mm-hmm. And that very easily, that's what I could have done, because it wasn't like things were booming or awesome for the first year even. But I still found myself spending 3 hours, 4 hours every night and working all day Saturdays on just grinding away and doing it and keeping it going. So yeah, I mean, sure, you can throw yourself 100% in, quit your day job tomorrow and go do this. Doesn't mean you'll be successful, because you might get burned out and say, I'm done after 3 months, but just keep going. Every project I've been involved in, because like Olive Avenue is one, and it's our main one, but with my brother and I, we've started a few other projects, like this shirt I'm wearing. We started an esports organization.
Oh, no way.
Oh, that's cool.
So like something like that, it's just a grind. Like, you start small, and we don't even game. Like, I play Call of Duty or whatever, but it's about, we can talk after, the business model of, it's pretty much social media influencing just through people who game, right? Mm-hmm. So like something like that could have failed months ago when people got burned out of it and it wasn't doing awesome and have 1 million followers already, but you just keep grinding, and then it'll take off. So, but yeah, my biggest advice to anyone who's going to go do something is don't stop. Like, you just have to keep hustling. I think everyone thinks they're a hustler until they find out they're not. I think the difference of people who are actually hustlers are the ones who keep going and don't quit when, this isn't going as expected. We're not getting the money out of it we want. We're not getting the recognition we need to keep it growing. Like, you just have to keep grinding. Yeah. Like, I don't know anyone, I'm sure they're out there, but personally, who's just been an overnight success.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Well, I mean, we got everything we wanted, I think.
Sure.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Very well done. Okay, we're going to move on to a segment we have. It's a little almost like game show we have that we're still trying to figure out what the name is.
So if you have any suggestions, basically you have 60 seconds to answer as many questions as you can. There's 20 questions. Some are business related. Some are just personal questions. They're all just about yourself.
Okay.
And we'll see how many you can get in that 60 seconds.
So 60 seconds. I answer these as quick as I can?
Yes.
Okay.
Don's going to start.
All right. So we have 1 minute starting in 3, 2, 1. If you could swim in any liquid, what would it be?
Jello.
If you can turn an inanimate object into life, what would it be?
A teddy bear.
Most embarrassing moment?
High school, junior year. My friend slapped me in the face and punched me right in the groin at the same time in front of everyone at lunch. It's pretty embarrassing.
Awesome. Favorite junk food?
Flamin' Hot Cheetos.
If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
To fly.
Music you turn on when nobody is around.
Oh, I don't want to answer this one. I don't know. Probably something like Justin Bieber.
Hey, let's go. If you're stuck on an island, what would you bring with you?
Anything. I can bring anything I want.
Yeah.
A boat.
Okay.
All right. Guilty pleasure.
I don't have one. I don't have one. I don't have a guilty pleasure.
Time.
I don't know. I don't have one.
Nice. So we got a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Pretty good.
I kind of want to hear the rest. Can I hit me with just a couple? Can I cheat and do a couple more just for fun?
Well, yeah, we
just
might...
pick your favorite. Like pick your top.
Dallin, you pick your favorite one, then I'll pick one.
I don't know if it's my favorite, but I'm just super interested. Michael Jordan or LeBron James?
Oh, that's a good one. I'm actually LeBron James.
All right, yeah,
that's a
bit
debate.
of an issue, yeah.
Yeah.
Oof, yeah. I don't even know. I think we're gonna have to turn this off.
Have to stop.
All right. I guess I'll ask mine. Conspiracy theory that you believe.
I think aliens are real. I don't know. UFOs
like
and
the
stuff.
green ones, or
no, like UFOs and stuff. Like I think all that's real.
Nice.
Cool. So did you storm Area 51?
Not that dedicated to the
all
cause.
Right, cool.
Okay, I'll ask one more from here. We'll see if you have any bits of wisdom for us. But favorite quote.
I have a quote that I really love. Okay, favorite quote is: every morning in Africa, a gazelle wakes up. It knows it must outrun the fastest lion or it will be killed. Every morning in Africa, a lion wakes up. It knows it must run faster than the slowest gazelle or it will starve. It doesn't matter whether you're the lion or the gazelle. When the sun comes up, you better be running. So I like that because that's part of that grinding, hustler,
Nice
entrepreneur spirit, right? It's like, doesn't matter what spot you're in. When the sun comes up, you better be running, better be working.
Yeah. That's super cool.
Mic drop. I'm not gonna ask my question anymore.
Yeah, I think that's can't end any better. But I guess before we do close, you want to just take a second to let your listeners know where they can find you or they can check you out.
Allofavjewelry.com. That's where we're at.
Nice.
That's the best place if you want something. Go browse there. Email us. Reach out. So we're happy to meet with people in person at our office. Just let us know. But you'll find everything else you need on our website.
Okay. Sweet. Well, thanks, TJ. It's been a pleasure talking to you today.
I'll be visiting with you soon. No, I'm just kidding.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Kidding.
All right. We'll catch you guys
Thanks,
next time.
Thanks.